So now we will now start Seminar 1, Latest Trends of Waste Management Technologies Contributing to Marine Plastic Debris Reduction. May I request the speakers for the seminar keynote and the moderator to kindly come to the stage. Keynote speakers, yes, please. Thank you very much. Please. This seminar will be moderated by Amit Jain, Mr. Amit Jain, Managing Director, IRG Systems South Asia Private Limited, India. Mr. Jain, please.
Good afternoon. It's really a pleasure to welcome galaxy of speakers as well as distinguished keynote speaker as well as director from Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Mr. Vinay Jha, Mr. Norio from Asian Development Bank, he's Director South Asia Division for Urban Practice. So the format of the seminar is that there will be presentations by both the distinguished speakers, and then from ADB as well as from Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Thereafter, we have companies who will make a presentation on their different technologies. Some of them have already made presentation, and I would request them whether they would like to present something different, which they have already done. In addition to that, we have two online speakers, and it's on horizontal recycling. That means bottle to bottle and tray to tray plastic recycling. And we also have on Fukuoka method like that. So may I request Director Sir, Mr. Vinay Jha, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, to give a keynote speech.
Thank you, Amit ji. First of all, I welcome Mr. Nario, a director from ADB, all the keynote speakers here on the dais, and all the participants, the companies who has participated in today's seminar. So this was the outcome of one of the discussion held between Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and ADB, that how we can bring in private participation in some of the area. So today, from the Swachh Bharat mission perspective, where we are dealing with the sanitation in the country, so I'll be covering what are the opportunities for the private sector, and how you can bring in efficiency, how this program can be taken further forward. So I'll request just to have my PPT loaded. So initially we started from 2014 when our country was struggling with the ODF. So from 2014 to 19, we made our country open defecation free, although some steps towards waste management also taken. And it was the 8 billion USD, the government sponsored scheme, the one of the largest scheme at that time. Again, this mission taken in a SBM2 shape from 2021 to 26. So now it is one of the largest urban sanitation mission by Government of India. And the outlay is of 20 billion US dollar. So here, if you see, our components are solid waste management. We want to go for the saturation, 100% waste management of the whole country. keeping all our public toilets and this workable in the whole country. The wastewater management, this is also included in our scope. This is the new dimension that has been added. And apart from this, capacity building and IEC is one of the ingredient of this Swachh Bharat mission too. So if we see the solid waste scenario of India right now, we are generating 1.43 lakh ton. If we see 150,000 tons per day. So the urban population is approximately 400 million. And this is going to increase by 2030, it will be 450,000 tons per day, with the increase of urban population to 600 million. Similarly, by 2050, this is our forecast. So what is our processing percentage? At present, we are processing 100,000 tons per day, 1 lakh ton per day we are processing. And before the end of this mission, by 2025, our target is to achieve 100% processing. And we are aggressively going towards all the innovative technology. And there is a huge opportunity for all of you. I was just hearing some waste to energy companies are there. So for our all million plus cities, we are envisaging to establish waste to energy plants. So the EIL, we have appointed EIL as our transaction advisory for this transaction advisory service. And we have calculated these are the potential, and MRF material recovery facility is one of the area where we want that in all our urban local body, approximately 4,500 cities are there. So 4,500 cities, each city, we want to establish this material recovery facility. And further, right now in first phase of the mission, our reliance was more on composting. So gradually, as we are going towards a better segregation, we are also moving for better recovery through biomethanation. So these are the potential where for the private sector investors. And for the biomethanation, the government of India has come up with some of the good incentives, Satat scheme, where there is a guaranteed buyback of your this gas at the rate of, earlier it was 48, now this has been enhanced. So this is one of the good option for the investment. So these are the potential right now for our country, but gradually as the country moves towards this mechanized processing, mechanized collection system, so gradually these potentials are also increasing. Apart from this, the C&D waste management is also one of the area where there is a huge investment required. And this is the right now we have only 7,500 TPD capacity in whole country. And next 3-4 years additional, we have to add 10,000 TPD, and this will go on increasing. And this is the area where I want to highlight that right now we have approximately 2,000 legacy dump sites. So earlier, prior to 2014, when the waste processing has taken a proper shape, a proper method, prior to that, all these landfills have been created. So our target is to by 2025, we have to remediate all our legacy landfills. Right now in the whole country, there are 2,000 legacy waste dumps. 170 million ton of waste is lying, and that needs to be remediated. And we have to remediate this 15,000 acre of urban valuable land, and we are very aggressively moving towards it. Most of already for the 1,200 dump site, we have already financed. The government of India is financing. There's a huge opportunity in this area. Already the urban local bodies, municipal corporations are going for the tendering. So this is the area where the investors can invest. They can come, the technology partners can come to India and go for this. The plastic management is also one of the very important area where you have an opportunity. Already SUP ban has been imposed by so many states. Mostly all states have banned, and we have gone for only uses of more than 120 micron plastic that can be recycled for this. Apart from this, we want to go for a technology where the requirement of a virgin plastic is less. So the recycling at a same level, that technology you can bring in. EPR regime also has been implemented in the country. So now for the end of life, for making taking all these things to the end of life, this is also one of the opportunity where you can work. And one of the area the Ministry of Housing and Venturing is the carbon market. So we are in the process of hiring the agencies and some companies who can give us the consultancy for this. We are doing a lot of work, but in this field, we see that we are lagging behind. So we have initiated this process here just for that through Terry has done some analysis. If, what will be the scenario? If it's a business as usual, then this is the curve will CH4 emission and CO2 emission will be right like this. And with the SBM's intervention, this curve is drooping down. And SBM is also very much involved in this life mission. Most of all these activity, what we are doing, mostly it is encompassing all these 7 themes that our Honorable Prime Minister is always using in all the forums. This you all need to take forward. So these are some of the expectations. The R&D in plastic, this is the area. Technology solutions for segregation. Just now I was coming through this one of the landfill sites of Delhi. I was there and one of the waste to energy plant. There we are segregating fraction of RDF, inert and CND waste. So evacuation of RDF and its uses, this is one of the challenge we are facing everywhere. So how these RDF can be used, this is the area where you can do something so that, and it is, the issue is in whole country. MLP is the another area where we need technology. Legacy dump site, Fukuoka method. We want to learn what exactly is this method, what you are doing in this method. CND waste management is use opportunity. Use water. I was just going through this Jukaso method that this has also got for the decentralized method. You can go to the smaller cities, and these are some of the expectations. Thank you. This is from my side.
Thank you very much, sir. And the expectations are very clear out here. And we look forward for Japanese technologies which can be customized as per Indian requirement and conditions to address them. Now I invite Mr. Norio Saito, and he will, from Asian Development Bank, he will now give a presentation on what financial institution or multilateral is doing with all the support that India needs.
Okay, very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Norio Saito. I'm director of the ADB's South Asia Department Urban Development Water Division. First, I would like to thank Minister of Environment Japan for inviting ADB to be a part of this India-Japan Environmental Week, particularly for this important event on waste management. I also wish to welcome Mr. Jha from Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which ADB is currently closely working with. So today I would like to share with you about ADB support to waste management. So waste management is an important agenda for ADB. ADB formulated Strategy 2030 in 2019, and there are 7 operational priorities. And out of 7, 2 operational priorities are directly linked to solid waste management. So operational priority 3 is about tackling climate change and ensuring environmental sustainability. And this really requires reducing air and water pollution, and waste management plays an important role for that. And operational priority 4 is making cities more livable, which really requires better waste management. And the promotes circular economy practices. And also ADB formulated action plan for healthy oceans in 2019. And ADB committed to support in this area between 2019 to 2024, about $5 billion. Now we are on track to achieve this target, and the plastic-free oceans, wastewater and sanitation, and better solid waste management are the core elements of the Healthy Oceans Action Plan. This is about waste management projects in the urban sector. I must say the amount is actually rather small. ADB's annual commitment volume is in the recent years about 22, 23 billion US dollars per year. And the urban sector is about $2 billion a year. Last year, it was a bit less, but in the last couple of years, on average, I think we are committing about $2 billion a year. But waste management, as you can see, it's only about 100 million, 160, even the highest year in 2018 is about 270 million. So this really shows that there's a lot that ADB is willing to do more to improve waste management, including in India. Probably many of the participants are already familiar with this. So of course, this waste hierarchy and circular economy principles are very important, but these are yet to be mainstreamed into many country strategies and operations. So of course, reduction is quite critical, and reduce and reuse. And when it comes to the recycle, of course, the priority should be given to material recycling. But if that's not possible, like a chemical or thermal recycling could be an option. But in the end, we really want to minimize the amount that has to go to the landfill in the end. And ADB also produced a couple of knowledge products to help practitioners or the local government officials to improve waste management. So this integrated solid waste management for local government is one of the practical guides that ADB produced. This was prepared in 2017. And also about 2 years ago, ADB produced one knowledge product on the waste to energy issues. From this slide on, I want to share with you a couple of actual project examples that ADB has been supporting. The first project is called the Coastal Towns Climate Resilience Project in Bangladesh. This was approved just October last year. This is a 250 million US dollars loans from ADB. And these are the support to the small towns. And as you can imagine, Bangladesh is very vulnerable to the climate change impacts. But currently, the local government capacity is very limited. They have poor drainage system, poor waste management practices. So in order to improve the resilience of those towns to the climate change impacts, waste management improvement is really an important aspect. So in this project, we are supporting Bangladesh in adopting an integrated approach for coastal towns development, improving the governance, improving systems, and improving the infrastructure. So this is just one sub-project under that loan. This is a waste management improvement in Bagilhat. Bagilhat is a small town with population of about 50,000. So it's a small town, currently producing about 15 tons per day of waste. But in this project, what we are supporting in this town is to really improve in a holistic way from source segregation to collection, transportation, intermediate treatment, and final disposal. So the idea is to have one integrated resource recovery facilities. So the organic waste should be separated, collected separately, and they will go for composting. And whatever is possible for material, recovery, then that will go to this material recovery center, and only the small amount should go to the landfill. And another sort of integrated approach we are taking is for the co-composting. So the fecal sludge will be separately collected, and this will be co-treated with the organic waste. So this is a kind of approach that ADB is advocating, not just as addressing one aspect of the waste management, but addressing the whole chain of waste management, and not just about the technical aspects, but also like people's behavior and the governance aspects to support capacity development of the municipalities. The second example is Greater Malé Environmental Improvement and Waste Management Project in the Maldives. So this one, similarly, ADB's projects are addressing from source segregation, intermediate treatment, up to final disposal. So for this one, ADB provided the first loan. Actually, this is a grant to Maldives for $40 million to really improve waste collection, transfer, and improvement of the existing landfill. So 2 years later, ADB provided another loan. This is a mixture of loan and grant, co-financed with by the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank to really support waste to energy facility with a capacity of 500 tons per day. So that way, ADB's support is holistically addressing waste management and also the strengthening the institutional capacities. Yeah, so this is a map of the map of Maldives. This Malé Island, very heavily, densely populated. And you can see this Tirafushi Island, where there is an existing landfill. And right next to the existing landfill, ADB's project is constructing this waste to energy plant. So this is before the project in 2018. You can clearly see fire and smoke from basically the dump site. So this is a nuisance for the local residents as well as the tourists. Of course, tourism is a big industry for the Maldives. So improving waste management really contributes to the tourism development as well. And right next to, you can see this open land. So that is newly reclaimed land to construct a waste to energy plant. So there are a couple of photos taken recently. As you can see on this right top photo, this is the same existing dump site. Now you cannot see any smoke or fire because of the better improvement of this existing landfill. And right at the bottom, this is a PET bottle, sort of a collection recycling. So the government is collaborating with a local NGO for this PET bottle collection and recycling. The central photo is a baling machine so that the waste currently generated is basically baled and basically waiting for the waste to energy plant to start operation. So that would feed into the plant. So this is what should look like when the project is finished. We expect this waste to energy plant will start operation in early 2025. So the landfill, existing landfill will be basically improved in this way. And then the waste to energy plant will be established. So this one has design build operate modality. So the contractor will be responsible for the operation of 15 years. So the design, we can tap the private sector's efficiency and innovation. And this same firm will be responsible for the construction and operation of the facilities. Third one, this one is from India. This is for the liquid waste management, not the solid waste, but it's Madhya Pradesh Urban Services Improvement Project that was approved in 2020. Where the main focus of this project is for the water supply system improvement. Improving the sanitation is one aspect, and ADB's support is really to mainstream citywide inclusive sanitation, which is a combination of sewer network system plus on-site sanitation. So this is just one municipality, Rajnagar municipality in Madhya Pradesh. So before the project, basically the wastewater coverage is 0%. And what was initially proposed by the government is to increase the coverage to 64%. But by incorporating this on-site sanitation plus sewer network system, then we'll be able to achieve 100% sanitation coverage. And also this can be done in a much more cost-effective way compared to trying to cover the entire town with the network system, which is very costly. The last example is that we are closely working with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. This is now the program is under preparation to support SBM 2.0. ADB identified a 200 million results-based loan process for this year's approval. So results-based loan is a little bit different from the project financing. So we will observe, we'll support and monitor so that the results are monitored. So results can be improved collection practice or improved recycling practice, or like garbage-free city status. So once we confirm that those results are achieved, then the money will be disbursed for the government. So that is the approach, and our intention is to support initially like 7-8 states to cover 100+ cities. And in addition to this loan, our intention is to support technical assistance so that this will help climate disaster resilience and knowledge management and the capacity building. And if this approach works well, ADB intends to sort of top up the financing for the additional like 300 million in 2025 or 2026. Last two slides. I think also these challenges may also be familiar with you already, but we see that waste management is quite a challenging subsector. These are the reasons why we think waste management is challenging. One is financial sustainability. It's a bit difficult to charge compared to like water or wastewater services. And also the current practice costs too little. So it's very difficult to really charge and ensure the financial sustainability. And so segregation, which is really a key practice for better waste management, but this cannot be done overnight. So there are other aspects and also like a technical solutions. I'm happy to have many, solution providers in this seminar, and it's really good that many options are available, but there are different views about what solution would be most appropriate. So better assessment, better analysis, more consultation discussion will help identify the solution that works best for the particular context. And one point I've mentioned is like what may be ideal may not be really realistic. So we need to identify what would work best, understanding the context of cities or the states. And because of these various challenges, of course, private sector participation is very welcome, but there's still limited enabling environment to invite the private sector to finance particularly. So this is the last slide, the way forward, how ADB can be involved in India to improve waste management. First of all, as I mentioned, ADB is really focusing more on the waste management, and supporting ocean health is a high item on the agenda. And this really also is important from climate change perspective, as Mr. Jha already mentioned. And in the design of the waste management project, we can include measures for building the capacity of local governments, improving policy and regulatory frameworks, citizens' engagement, and circular economy principles. And ADB has some technical assistance resources. Although they are not so large, we can still support like a pilot testing of innovative technologies or some digital technologies to see how they work. And then once it works through ADB loans, we can scale up our support. And another point is to city-to-city partnership. This may be a good way to really provide direct support to cities to foster knowledge and experience sharing for sustainable waste management. Last but not least, as I touched upon earlier, waste management really needs time, and the stepwise improvement is really essential. So by, with ADB support, we are happy to be involved to medium to long term to support system development and capacity development so that gradual improvement becomes possible in the many ULBs in India. That's all I want to share this afternoon, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. And it's very heartening to see that once we are having institutions like ADB supporting our flagship program, then definitely it will trigger certain interventions, and it will lead to, we can say that some of the end of the chain when we talk of value chain, which means we need some technologies, and the customization of those technologies is very important. And that's why out here, similarly, like what Director Sir has pointed out earlier, that we are open for technologies, the technologies which can be customized, which can be run at pilot level, and which can be tested and tried out here, so that we try to develop them into our indigenous solutions. So when we are moving towards new regime like extended producer responsibility, we are trying to streamline that chain. We are in a period where we are transitioning from a chain towards a circularity of the chain. And that's where we need the intervention. Without taking much time, now I would like to invite panelists, distinguished panelists. We have with us Mr. Rao from Hitachi Zosen, Mr. Soumya Bhattacharya from JFE. They will present what are the needs in terms of technology how to make the technology successful in an Indian scenario. Then we have Mr. Vaza, and he will also try to present once we are seeing that we are implementing SBM2 and we have ODF category, ODF++, and we want to see the different cities out here to rank higher and higher so that we move towards circularity in our water systems. Then also we have Ms. Naomi. She will be joining online. She will give a presentation on how Fukuoka city technology, which is being used for landfill sites, how it can be customized to different dump sites in India. Then we also have Mr. Michikazu Kojima, who will also speak on tray-to-tray recycling and what are the needs in order to make it happen. What is the conducive environment, how it can be developed once EPR systems are being implemented. Can I invite those? And we also have from Shakti Plastics about, they will be speaking about the scenario in India, how they are implementing that system, considering EPR. And also, then we have few minutes left for question and answer, and this will be there. Can I invite some of the panelists? Mr. Rao from Hitachi, is he there? Mr. Rao? Or any representative of Hitachi Zosen? But anyway, we have Mr. Soumya Bhattacharya. Oh, Mr. Rao is here. And okay, please, welcome. And Mr. Rao, would you like to make a presentation on or what are the requirements for customization of technology from Hitachi Zosen related to biomethanation or waste to energy?
Yeah, actually, I was my last slide. I was talking about some industry problems actually. So for implementing these waste energy plants. So first of all, the segregation system, actually the effective segregation system will help us to guide the right technology. The moment when we segregate it properly, then we can adopt the suitable technology so that we can generate maximum energy out of it. And that is the first one. The second one is about the dedicated funding mechanism actually. As such, I think now being this is a platform where like Japanese funding is there, but I think that is happening on only on country to country level. Like maybe sometimes it is happening on state, but maybe it's like some dedicated funding mechanism that can be like applied for any WT plant. So, but see, irrespective of like whether it is being EPC or PPP. So maybe it's a lot of projects like now coming up, all the projects on PPP mode only. So very few projects are like coming up on a EPC mode where the funding from the respective municipal corporation. But of course, that's we are promoting it, but still that we are encouraging and asking municipal corporation to coming forward and put the investment, and so that they can like they take the responsibility and they can run the plant with the support of the technology provider for the operation and maintenance. And the third one is about, suppose we are all talking about the revenue stream considering power. Actually, if you look at waste energy plants, are actually we don't should not talk about the power based revenue model actually. It's actually the social responsibility actually. So it's effectively consuming the waste. So that is actually power should be treated as a byproduct, but the bid evaluation parameters are based on the power tariff only nowadays. That's the problem. Actually, recently, if you look at, there is a project announced by Delhi Municipal Corporation. Even in fact, we have also like send our proposal that should not be based on the power based, should be based on some tipping fee. See, end of the day, it's the responsibility of the municipal corporation. See, they are only like letting their responsibility and shifting to some other people. So that's why like they have to pay the revenue. That revenue will be fixed when they pay the tipping fee per ton of waste processing. That will be fixed. But whereas if we talk about the revenue that is coming from the power, that will be always varying actually.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Soumya if he would like to speak or to add on what Mr. Rao has suggested and what can be done. I will then try to see that what best answers we can have or what solutions we can have. Certainly, yes, revenue streams are very important, and gradually we are moving from tariff-based to tipping fee-based models. So it's already there. It's a question of learning, and we are gradually learning how to make the contract secure and good for waste to energy operators in the country. So Mr. Soumya, would you like to?
Hello. Honorable dignitaries on the dais and every participant in this seminar. Good afternoon once again. Before I begin my presentation and elaborate on what Dr. Jain just asked, let me make a slightly contentious claim. I think the story on environmental harmony, on CO2 reduction, I think it's a little misrepresented. I think we're talking, the general text is that we need to save the environment. We need to save Mother Earth. That's what we've all been hearing all this while, right? I don't think that's true. I submit to you that the battle is actually to save mankind. Earth was always there. Earth is going to be there. There is going to be a post-pollution world. The main question that we need to answer is, are we going to be a part of it? And in that theme, I'd like to present my thoughts on how waste to energy can contribute towards a carbon neutral society. Because that, I'm sure, as most of you would agree, is one of the growing menaces in society today. As I mentioned in my previous presentation, I represent JFE Engineering Corporation. This is a legacy company. It has over 50 years of experience in the area of waste to energy. We have built a total of close to 300 waste to energy plants in the last 50 years. And now we are present in India to present our solution, which is indigenized, which is customized to suit the local conditions. Our opening presentation was made towards urging companies to adopt local conditions, local procurement, because it's not from just a competitive perspective, it's also from a feasibility perspective. You cannot import a foreign solution and just implement it over here. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. We have had way too many examples in the area of waste to energy. In fact, in India, the story of waste to energy has actually been one of challenges. It's been one of failures. It's only now in the last 5 years that we have seen plants coming up which have been performing to some extent. And I believe that the story is set to get better. Thematically, ours is a company that is dedicated to the area of CO2 reduction. And in this theme, we have been addressing areas like waste to energy, biomass to power, geothermal, and many others. The idea is that we need to implement solutions which are localized to the conditions prevalent in the areas that we are operating in, so that we effect CO2 reduction by means of clean technologies. And that is exactly what we want to bring to India as well. The Sustainable Development Goals, as I mentioned, in the area of solid waste recycling, waste to energy, renewable energy, these are the areas that we want to focus on. There are many other sectors that JFE as a group is present in. We are there in the area of water. We are there in the area of smart agriculture. We're there in the area of solar. We're there in the area of LNG terminals and whatnot. We have a booth outside, and I'd be very happy to elaborate on the multiple business sectors that we're present in. But for the sake of this presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about a subject that's very dear to me, which is waste to energy and waste management. Let me ask you a question. Does this look like a familiar sight to you? Or this? How many of you know that this is actually Delhi? In fact, for those of you who are on LinkedIn, you might realize this is from the Bhalswa landfill. This happened 6 months back. It looks like some dystopian sci-fi horror film, doesn't it? But this is our reality. And we need to address this. Forget us. Our Honorable Prime Minister has spoken about this on multiple occasions, including just a couple of days back when he spoke on environment. Surely we need to pitch in. The point is that we are all technically aware of what happens when waste is not treated well. There are CO2 emissions, there are methane emissions, there are other environmental hazards. But to all of you and to the dignitaries on the stage, I have one question. Can an aspiring superpower really afford this? Is this what's going to be our legacy? And is this the kind of society that we want to leave for our future generations? I think the answer is very obvious. I submit to you what we need for an effective waste management stroke waste to energy plant. And let me clarify, I'm not here to promote waste to energy. I do not believe that waste to energy is the be all and answer all for everything. In fact, an effective strategy involves multiple technologies being implemented. But typically, as has been covered even by my previous speakers, for an effective waste management strategy, you need source segregation. And I'm very glad to report that we are seeing multiple examples of source segregations. In fact, the city that I come from, Pune, has had a very, very stellar record in segregating their waste. Yes, there are areas to improve, but we are seeing those examples. And that's very, very heartening. You need to cover your waste transportation, because in monsoon and India gets a fair bit of rain, you're going to get wet waste, which means that treating that waste is going to be a problem. So unless you have covered transportation, you're going to have leachate seeping all across the road, as we've seen even in Delhi quite a few times. The assured supply of waste, something that I'm sure even my colleague, Mr. Rao, would elaborate on. Many a times, waste to energy plants or waste treatment plants, they suffer because they have been designed and incorporated for a particular capacity, and then they don't receive that amount of waste. So it is very, very important that municipal corporations or urban local bodies commit to an assured supply of waste for the techno-commercial feasibility of the plant. Long-term sale of products is another very, very important perspective. Composting, RDF, biogas, very, very good solutions in specific areas. But the most important part of such solutions is that, is there a long-term sale of these products? Do we have an assured supply of revenue by sale of these products, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but for at least a decade and a half? That is what's going to lead to the feasibility of these plants. Why do compost plants really not sustain themselves? Is it because composting doesn't work? Of course not. It does work. It's just that there are no buyers. It's only now that we are seeing the government step in, and they have made the sale of compost and the purchase of compost mandatory in certain areas. Like they have made power supplied from waste to energy plants mandatory in certain plants. And the most important parts, as Mr. Rao also spoke about, is we absolutely need gate fees, we need subsidies, and we need preferential tariff. A waste to energy plant is not a power generating plant. Its primary purpose is not generation of power, that's just a byproduct. The main purpose of a waste to energy plant is effective and scientific treatment of waste, which means that for the sustainability of this plant, we need a gate fees that will sustain it commercially. In fact, if you see certain projects, especially down south, the revenue stream is completely reversed. They have 75% of their power, the revenue coming from tipping fee and 25% from power. That is exactly the norm that's followed internationally. So why should India be any different? Especially because our waste from a calorific point of view is not exactly very conducive for power generation. It's only in certain areas that we can have waste to energy projects. So for the sustenance of these plants, we obviously need a healthy tipping fee and or a preferential tariff and grant.
Mr. Soumya, if you can summarize,
Sure.
that will be very helpful in the interest of the time for the
Sure,
other
absolutely.
speakers.
Thank you. So the point I want to make in terms of the overall systems summary that we would like to bring in is that we are present in India for the last 7 years. And over here, what we need is horses for courses, meaning that there are certain areas where we will need biomethanation as a technology when you have biodegradable waste, pure biodegradable waste. We'll need waste to energy in places where land is not there, and you have a very high quantum of waste being generated. You also have other sources like RDF, which can be sustainably sold off. So when you integrate these technologies and provide a complete solution, that is where the sustenance of waste management will really take off, and we will see success stories come up multifold across the society. So I urge the government and also players like us to collaborate better and design customized solutions which are locally procured to be able to give this a success. So thank you very much for your time and patience.
Thank you, Mr. Soumya. Can I request Vaza-san, Mr. Vaza from Daiki Access to have few words if
I'm sorry, I didn't heard. We can get this opportunity to explain. Yeah, thank you very much. Very quickly, I already explained in business pitch part. Daiki Axis, our company, produce this type of decentralized domestic water treatment plant, STP. We call Jokaso in Japan, and in India. Of course, in Japan also, water treatment, main part is centralized STP by municipality. So those are some ml, million liter per day treatment capacity, or MGD, million gallon. So those are very, very big plant. Of course, in Japan, 75 to 80% wastewater treated by those centralized STP. But another 20% or 23%, depend on some research, those wastewater treated by these Jokaso. Segment is micro and small scale decentralized STP. Now, India is a almost similar industrial growing situation in 1970s, 1960s of Japan. So during that time, Japan suffered water and air pollution. That time, of course, industrial wastewater and some big centralized STP, we developed and increased again. But on the other hand, these small scale water treatment system also started and developed. So now in Japan, almost 97 or 98% wastewater treated and discharged to natural body or recycle. That's the situation. So Daiki Axis is a private company, not government or like those, but we want to contribute to Indian environment, especially water sector. And so we come and we going to produce more product and spread this technology into India. And you can see top side, there is installation seen in India. Left side in Chennai, installed in one factory. Factory also domestic wastewater and industrial wastewater, those two types of wastewater generate. And only domestic wastewater we can treat by biological system. Industrial wastewater generally treat by chemical treatment system. So those are separately we can treat. And center part we install under green area. In Japan, more than 95% installed underground. So almost all Japanese knows Jokaso, that name and meaning, but almost all person have never seen product because installed underground, under green area or under car parking, those. And in this panel discussion, theme is those reduce waste or those. So from that point of view, our product Jokaso STP, these are decentralized. I explain again, decentralized. So many pocket, some some area, India now developing cities going to outside bigger and bigger. So some area difficult to construct centralized STP or those sewage line network. So those area. Okay, sorry. Yeah, those area. If someone use JOCAS STP, that time no need make long distance piping network, no need those construction too much. And from day one, start using this product and save the energy, save the environment. Those are very good point for current Indian scenario. And we just started 4-5 years before Indian operation, sales and operation. But now we are expanding, and government side also. During COVID time, Japanese Environmental Ministry, MOEJ, and India side is not MOEF, Jal Shakti, already signed up for cooperation and expand these JOCAS STP, this technology spread into India. Because this is a small size, but part of infrastructure Japanese government considered. So infrastructure export from Japan to India, those system, Japanese main concept, those infrastructure and environmental equipment, main concept is less maintenance, less energy, but keep continue good performance. So I expect today our minister, now he already gone from this venue, but go to Jal Shakti or MOEF government building and discuss this future plan, Japan and India collaboration. And I hope those collaboration, government to government and private to private, contribute to Indian environment and save the energy, save the environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Waza-san. And definitely we need such type of technology for implementation in India. And it's very heartening to see that we already have more than 500 installations in India.
Almost now 450 last month.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And can I invite now Ms. Naomi, and probably she's there
Yes.
online, and
Yes,
she's
yes,
from
online. I'm online.
Fukuoka city.
Yes.
So for the landfill side, they will, how they are using Fukuoka method.
Yes, I show my screen. Wait a moment, please. Can you hear my voice? And can you see my screen?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
please.
Good afternoon. I'm Naomi Mizokami from Environmental Bureau of Fukuoka City. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about Fukuoka City's efforts. First, let me briefly introduce Fukuoka City. Fukuoka City is one of the cities located in Fukuoka Prefecture, and Fukuoka Prefecture is one of the prefectures in Kyushu region. Fukuoka City is one of the leading growth cities in Japan. According to the citizen survey, more than 90% of respondents said that they want to continue to live in Fukuoka City. High level of satisfaction is also a big feature. Today, I would like to talk about garbage collection and Fukuoka method, which is a unique feature of Fukuoka City. First, I talk about garbage collection. As the population continues to grow, Fukuoka City has tried a reduction in waste by promoting the 3R activities. This is an explanation of separation of garbage. Fukuoka citizens separate garbage into 4 types to dispose. The garbage bags are available for a fee, and each type has a different color. Collected garbage is reused or recycled whenever possible, and is finally divided into 7 categories for disposal. In Fukuoka City, plastic products other than PET bottles are disposed of as burnable garbage, but this year a model project to collect plastic products has been studied. Next is garbage disposal rule in Fukuoka City. The frequency of garbage collection differs depending on the type of garbage, and the collection days differ depending on the area. Fukuoka City is famous for its unique garbage collection times. Most Japanese cities collect garbage early in the morning, but Fukuoka City collects it at night. The benefit of nighttime collection are work is more efficient because of the low traffic hours. The collection vehicle run at night can detect fires at an early stage, and it prevents nighttime crimes such as arson and burglary. And there is no damage from clothes. We took a survey of the satisfaction level about nighttime collection to the citizen in 2021. 98% of the citizens answered that they are satisfied. The following is an overview of Fukuoka method. First, I talk about the history. First, I talk about the history of Fukuoka method. These 2 photos show landfill sites in Fukuoka City around 1970. Until 1970, landfill not only in Fukuoka City, but also around Japan, also face environmental programs, such as Toxic Leachate and 4 others. Under such circumstances, Fukuoka City and Fukuoka University have jointly developed a waste landfill technology to improve landfill sites. Landfill are mainly classified into 3 types. Open dumping is one of the anaerobic landfill without any management and control. Fukuoka method is a semi-aerobic one. The safety and effectiveness of the technology have been recognized, and it has spread both in Japan and overseas as Fukuoka method. Fukuoka method has 3 characteristics. First, it stabilizes the landfill condition at an early stage. Second, it can be introduced using locally available materials. And third, it is a very simple technology. Furthermore, Fukuoka method is attracting attention for its significant contribution to decarbonization as it reduces methane gas emission. I will briefly explain the flow of Fukuoka method. First, various conditions such as climate, precipitation, and soil type are confirmed before construction begins. Then, in parallel with the daily waste landfill operations, environmental management such as monitoring of landfill gas and leachate is conducted on a regular basis. And finally, the landfill can be safely closed and reused. Fukuoka method does not end with the construction of the landfill site. O&M is very important. During landfill operations, the temperature and flow rate of gas coming out of the venting pipe and the reject should be monitored to confirm that semi-aerobic conditions are maintained. This photo shows the This photo shows the final disposal site still in operation in Fukuoka City. Fukuoka method is the standard structure for the final disposal site in Japan, so it is also used at this disposal site, and ash after incineration and non-recyclable and non-burnable materials are disposed of at landfills. This landfill site is also operated with regular monitoring. Fukuoka method is also useful for landfills after incineration. Fukuoka method has a big advantage. It is possible to reuse the site at an early stage. This used to be landfill, but now an athletic park, a school, and a refreshment farm have been built and are used by many citizens. Many of visitors are unaware that this used to be landfill site. Currently, Fukuoka method has been introduced in 21 countries around the world, mainly in Asia. As recent case in the city of Yangon, Myanmar, we are working with UN Habitat with funding from Japanese government starting in 2019 to improve existing landfill site and construct a new landfill site where a large fire broke out in 2018. Utilizing Fukuoka method, the landfill is currently being transformed into a sanitary landfill. In addition, there are not a fire at this landfill site since the start of maintenance. Finally, I would like to explain about Fukuoka method global network, which is a new action of Fukuoka City. As Fukuoka method spread around the world, there have been cases where construction and maintenance are being carried out without a proper understanding of basic principles of Fukuoka method. In order to eliminate such cases, it is important to develop human resources who currently understand the basic principles. Together with UN Habitat, the Ministry of Environment, Fukuoka University, and many other organizations and groups, we have established the Fukuoka method global network. We will provide a place for domestic and overseas engineers and people who are interested in Fukuoka method to learn together about the basic principles and necessary knowledge of Fukuoka method. Detailed information of this network is posted on the Fukuoka City website and Facebook. We hope that you will take a look and participate in activities. That's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Naomi. It's Naomi.
Yes.
And it's very heartening to see how the landfills are being reused, considering a shift in the technology. So you see gradually using aerobic and anaerobic process, how the system has been customized as per the conditions of the city. And this type of technology has potential in India, considering our dump sites. Now, can I invite Mr. Sahil Ghai from Shakti Plastics? Mr. Ghai? To make a brief presentation how they are taking care of plastic waste and how they are trying to arrest from draining into the local drainage as well as into the seas.
Thank you. I'm Sahil from Shakti Plastic Industries, and I handle projects and related to EPR as well. And also look forward to for investments in newer projects in waste management. We have been managing, we are inherently a plastic waste management company. We recycle plastic, reprocess plastic, and make it into granules and sell it into an existing B2B market, which can, from where it can be used into different applications like benches, buckets, and various other applications. So from the existing study, it has been found that 80% debris that has been found on the shore has come from the oceans. And if the plastic is floating, the buoyant plastic is floating on from within 7 to 8 kilometers, there's a very high likeliness that it'll come on the beach. And every day, 6.4 million tons of mixed waste gets dumped into the sea annually. Sorry. In a single day, it's almost 1.3 billion microplastic particles. And these particles vary from various sizes in mm. And in India, around in the Indian Ocean, it is coming majorly from from China, India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Nepal. The plastic waste that has been around the Indian Ocean is one of the major contributors. It's around 15% of the global. And you might have heard this many a times that by 2050, there'll be more plastic than fish in the oceans. As you can see, in this area, there's two major plastic patches. These are not like plastic islands which has been designed. It is like smog around of plastic waste that has been circling in the western towards Japan and towards eastern and towards California. So if there's a plastic bottle that's been dumped in California, it may take 3 to 5 years for that bottle to reach Japan and then come back. India is the worst. India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Indonesia are the worst impacted nations because the movement of currents is towards these countries. And we have highest plastic, not only plastic, but all other kind of waste that has been collected on our coastal areas. So these are the ocean currents that you can see. As I was mentioning that most of the plastic, all the waste garbage is moving towards this area. Whatever garbage that has been floating on the sea level that doesn't sink, that comes towards our coastal line, majorly affecting all of the Indian coastal line, including Pakistan and Bangladesh and Myanmar. So what are the policies that majorly has come up? New EPR policy has been a major catalyst in the plastic waste management since it came in 2016. And we being into that space are also contributing by recycling the plastic. So this policy addresses from all the major plastic generators, which are actually the brand owners who are selling these plastic, using this plastic packaging. They are the ones who are being held responsible in this. And EPR, as a theory says, extended producer's responsibility. Producer is the one who is actually selling the products in the market. There are more than 16 items that have been banned in India this year, in the beginning of this year, and these items are very bleakly available now in the market. Yet that ban these items are coming to the market through other channels, through informal channels, and hopefully the ban will subside all these items by the mid or maybe the next end of 2023. Swachh Bharat Mission, and like sir has mentioned, that has been contributed majorly making India open defecation free, and now it's launched the second version of SBM 2.0 and has various targets in it. Coastal Clean Seas, India is one of the major signatories in this. to contribute towards this. So it's Sagar Surakshit campaign, 13 river regeneration plan, which has been majorly led by rallies for river. These are the major, they are contributing in the, they've also supported the government in building the DPR for this. Plastic waste management rules, again, one of the portions of the EPR policy, that plastic waste rules, not only it mandates the recycling of plastic, but it from next year, it will mandate producer and brand owners to use recycled plastic in their packaging. So this is what Shakti Plastic has done. We have collected more than 2 lakh metric ton of plastic from the landfills. We have tie-ups with various municipals across the country, and we have supported the brands by making sure that the logistics is met between the cement factory, between the waste to energy plant. And if the plastic waste is recyclable, we bring it to our unit in Indore and Palghar. We recycle it there, we make granules and further sell it to the market. Through this, we have likely met a number of, around 10,000 rack pickers who have been directly and indirectly employed in this. And majorly, it is the ULBs who has been using good technologies of producing RDF, has been supporting us so that we can also cover up the target in EPR and make sure that the dump site has been cleared sooner. So now, this is the major contribution of Shakti Plastic. These are the 4 major areas. We have our own plastic recycling facilities. We have 3 major plastic recycling facilities, MRF facilities, that is operational, one in Port Blair, one in Thane, and we are coming up with 2 more facilities in the north. We are very actively approaching local government, even tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 levels, so that we can establish an MRF facility. Whenever we sit in a meeting with the commissioner, we just plainly tell them, you give us the 2,000, 3,000 square feet land today, and we will invest within a week's time. So second is, like I mentioned earlier, we are managing plastic by channelizing their RDF, and whatever the plastic has been recovered from the beach cleanup drives that we are trying to do, that is further channelized to our recycling facilities. These are the few photos of beach cleanup drives that we do in around Mumbai. So the major technologies that has been available is the bin by Spilltech. This bin collects a lot of plastic and being attached along with a boat or a ship. Next is plastic waste collection is a lot of done by a major NGO, Nofair. And there's a trash boom technology which is majorly used in rivers so that the flow of garbage can be stopped. These are the few products that we have made from plastic waste. The first one that you can see is a tile that is 100% made from multi-layered plastic. Your chocolate wrappers, your toffee wrappers, that can be, converted into first granules, which has a B2B market that is MLP granules. And further, it can be made into these tiles. These benches is also made from the same category of plastic, multi-layered plastic. And these benches can be, a 3-seater bench can be used anywhere in a park or any other place. These pellets are majorly industrial use pellets. These pellets you can actually put 4 tons of material on it and there's a forklift option also there. You can use such pellets in managing your logistics. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sahil. And as you can see that we are transitioning, considering our EPR-based system to further up. And we need to learn from international best practices how EPR has worked and how plastic waste or different streams of plastics have been addressed in already matured EPR systems. With that, I now invite Mr. Kojima. Mr. Kojima is a senior advisor on environmental issues from ARIA, and he's present online. He will make a presentation on horizontal recycling. Kojima-san.
Yeah, thank you for introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I will share my screen. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your kind introduction. My name is Michikazu Kojima, Senior Advisor in Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia area. I would like to share some good practices in Japan, including horizontal recycling. First, I would like to share two horizontal recycling in Japan, which are polystyrene paper tray and PET bottle to PET bottle recycling. PSP tray are used for container of sushi, sashimi, and others. One of the producer of PSP tray, FPICO, has installed a trash box for PSP tray at shopping centers and supermarket. When the company deliver new PSP tray to shops, the trucks collect the waste PSP tray for recycling. Consumers bring a waste PSP tray when they have shopping. Such system can reduce the cost for collecting and transporting recycled materials. The collected PSP tray was recycled to new tray, while virgin plastic are used in the surface of tray, which touch with foods. Another horizontal recycling is PET bottle to bottle recycling. PET bottle to bottle chemical recycling in Japan was initiated in 2004, while bottle to bottle mechanical recycling was started in 2012. One of the challenges to introduce bottle to bottle recycling was approval of Food Safety Committee. In fiscal year 2021, among 740,000 tons of resin for PET bottle production, 118,000 tons were recycled resin. And yeah, let me see. Sorry. Yeah, and to reduce the cost of recycling, industry jointly made guidelines for design for PET bottles. The first guideline was developed in 1992. For example, PE or PP, which gravity are less than 1, should be used for caps in order to sort out caps from PET. Coloring PET is prohibited because waste PET with color has limited demand of recycling. Producers should design a PET bottle for easy separate labeling, such as perforation on the labeling. This kind of the perforation is used for the labeling of PET bottles. Okay. It is also important to ensure the quality of the recycled products. Some recycled products may not satisfy the level of quality desired by customers, nor defined in conventional industrial standards for products made from virgin materials. To ensure an adequate level of quality for recycled products, and to reduce the transaction cost between the suppliers and buyers about the quality of recycled products, industrial standards for recycled products have been developed. These are kind of the plastic-related recycled plastics products under the Japan industrial standard. This is one of the example of recycled products. PVC pipe, inner layer and outer layer of PVC pipe are made from the virgin PVC, but the core layer between inner and outer layer, the recycled PVC was used. So this kind of the how to say pipes is not how to say it's not how to say not do not satisfy the kind of the industrial standards. So they made the kind of the industrial standards in Japan. And this is another example. This is a wood plastic recycled composite, which this was developed in 2006. Japanese government have a green public program which prioritize recycled materials with other green products. So when government how say procure some kind of the materials, they use this kind of industrial standard. And also, I just touch on the expanded waste collection services to rural area. Urban and rural government in Japan had expanded waste collection services in 1960s and 1970s. Percentage of population getting waste collection reached more than 90% in 1977 from less than 50% in 1961. During this period, central government urged local governments to formulate intermunicipal cooperation on waste management or regional waste management scheme. Economy of scale works for waste to energy plant and landfill site. So intermunicipal cooperation can reduce the cost of waste treatment. So we had a kind of this kind of history to expand waste management, not only in urban area, but also in rural area. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kojima-san. And now we are at the fag end of this particular seminar. And I would like to take one question, if at all, in the interest of time, if at all, to the panelist. And someone from panelist can answer that. And then Mr. Kojima will, from ARIA, again, he will give his remarks. And then there will be concluding. Yes, sir. Kindly introduce yourself.
I am R. Mehrotra. I have worked in Delhi Technological University. Now I'm superannuated. I just wanted to know when we use recycled, can you keep it food grade in many applications? Some of the plastics, I think, can still be used with recycling and they remain food grade. Can I get some comment on that?
Yeah, well, as you have seen in this earlier presentation, there are standards. And those standards are very much prescribing the type of plastics and the type of material which can be used along with the virgin material. And so the need is how much and when do we have such type of standards in our system first. Second point is whether we can use it in food grade. For certain food grade items, definitely we cannot use given the type of material that we need for preservation and for sustainability of the food. Some items, say for example in PET bottles, Coca-Cola has come out with a number of programs in which they promote recycled material. So that itself speaks that.
Could I get specific something?
Well, it's very
remains food grade with recycling.
Yeah, Kojima-san, if you want to answer that.
Yes, yeah, as I mentioned, the like yeah, like a PSP tray, polystyrene paper tray is recycled for PSP tray again. So it's a kind of food contact kind of the tray. So yeah, I think yeah, we have such kind of example. And also PET bottle to bottle recycling is another kind of example, I think.
Thank you. Thank you, Kojima-san. Now, can I have the remarks from you, Kojima-san? We are coming to the end of this particular.
Okay,
seminar.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. As my closing remark, I'd like to first thank our co-organizers of the seminar. We are grateful for the Ministry of Environment of Japan and the Asian Development Bank for inviting Economic Research Institute for ASEAN East Asia and its Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris to take part in India-Japan Environmental Week. My special appreciation goes to Mr. Bin Jha, Director of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs of India, and Mr. Saito Norio, Director, Urban Development and Water Division of the ADB for their keynote speeches. Today's seminar shed light on interesting lessons learned we can draw from India and Japan regarding innovative waste management technology and approaches contribute to marine plastic waste reduction. I do not have much time to summarize each of the presentation, but I think we had a good discussion about waste to energy and some other kind of technologies. So indeed, India and Japan have many sustainable business practices undertaken by the private sectors, which can be insightful for the region. One of the Regional Knowledge Center for Marine Plastic Debris program is dedicated to promoting good practices carried out by private companies to prevent and minimize plastic waste in order to protect our marine environment. The Regional Knowledge Center will be pleased to share today's takeaways and lessons learned through our knowledge sharing platform. I would like to thank again all our speakers and the panelists for your valuable contribution and participation. I would like to also express my gratitude to our audience for your interest and its important topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. And we come to an end of this session and seminar one. And now I would like to say arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much.